Hey guys, Francis here, and I wanted to just check in with you and let you know that I oftentimes my students have issues. Their number one complaint these days is tight quads, and a lot of my students happen to have knee issues. So the regular stretches are not going to be appropriate. They're not going to feel comfortable. They're going to maybe even be painful and maybe cause more harm than good. So I have a couple of things I'm going to show you with a chair and towel that are not your usual quad stretches. And they should be milder on the body. Of course, if you have any pain, I want you to back away. Don't push into pain. Take care of it. Check in with your doctor, physical therapist. But if you're dealing with tightness in the quads, which again, the majority of my students, that's coming up for them on a regular basis, then we want to make sure we keep those quads nice and open. And if the regular quad stretches are too much, then I want you to incorporate these two things that are going to help us and keep your quads nice and open. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll start with the towel. Now, instead of a towel, you could actually use a rolled up yoga mat. This would be the equivalent of a foam roller, but the size is going to be smaller, which is going to be more appropriate for what we want, and the consistency is going to be more squishy. So you can use a yoga mat instead of the towel, or you can take the towel and fold it up a couple times and then roll it. So we want to get a nice tight roll with that towel. So we're making essentially that same thing. If you want to connect it together with some rubber bands, you can do that, or you can just use it as is. And if it falls apart, we just roll it up again. Okay, so choose to use either the towel or the yoga mat, and we'll do a release that is going to help open up the quads. So first of all, what are the quads? So the quads are the muscles that are on the front of the thighs. Okay, they cross, one of the major ones crosses mainly the hip, and the other few cross the knee. They're in charge of straightening the leg and also flexing the hip, flexing the thigh, the hip joint. So we want to kind of find ways to open up the quads in a way that is going to be healthful for your knees. Okay, so a lot of knee issues, tight quads are related, and we're going to break down how to open up those quads in just a second. So let's start with the seated variation, okay? So you're going to use a chair. I have a stool here. Have a seat. And this is something that you can do throughout your day. If you're sitting a lot in front of the computer, if you have a chair with no arms and no wheels, it's really important, then this is a stretch that you can throw in to counteract the sitting that we're doing. So if you notice while we're sitting, we're in a hip flex position. Okay, our knees are bent, and the quads do the quads are going to the hip flexors are going to be tightening up if they're always in this flex position. So what we want to do is we want to reverse that shape and move into a place where we're in more of an open shape in a backward bend fashion. So you can slide over. So my sitting bones are connected to the chair right now. If I rock side to side, I can get a sense for the sitting bones. And we're just going to slide off of the chair halfway. Hold on with your hand and slide your other leg back. Okay, so as I do that, as I slide that thigh back, I want to lift my belly and drop my tail and bring that thigh back. There will be a natural inclination for the thigh to roll out. So imagine you have a line on the front of your pant leg, and you want that line to be directly facing the floor. Or if you're on a yoga mat, you want that line to line up at the edge of your yoga mat. So again, belly firm, tail dropping, reaching that thigh back. If your quads are very tight, you might not straighten the leg, and that's okay. Just getting out of this hip flex position, dropping the foot back, dropping the thigh back, that's going to already be an opening. Now, if you need more stretch, lifting the belly and dropping the tail is going to be a good start, but then you will also press the back heel further back, so that's going to open up a stretch into the front of that thigh and quad. If you're up for a little more stretch, you might do one arm or both. You want to hold on, you can keep one hand in place, and then do the other hand behind the head and open the chest and open the elbow as well. And come back to center, and then open up and center. 2 more times, open up and center. 1 more, open and center, and let's gently come to the other side. So you can gently lean to the side so that you can easily bring that foot forward again. So we'll do the second side, and I'll face straight on so you can get a sense for that. We'll slide over. My sitting bone is free. I want to be forward enough in the chair that I can really ground my forward foot, and then bring the thigh back. Make sure you're not flaring out, dropping down, belly firm, tail dropping. And we can even from here lengthen the thigh and then let the knee bend a little bit. Again, all of this should be pain-free. If you feel any pain or discomfort, don't continue. Just pause, and then maybe the second one will be a better one for you. If you're okay here, you can thread this into your day. You can do the opening, one hand or two. Right? You can just do the knee bending and straightening a couple times, and then do a couple times this elbows opening, opens the chest as well. And that is going to be this opening for the body. And then you can gently come out of it. And that's the chair part of this, okay? You can use a chair. I have a stool. You can use a chair, again, no arms, no wheels, and stable. So now let's move into the part where we're going to use a towel, right? Or you can use a yoga mat. Either one works. We'll take this prop, right, and put it underneath us. So remember where the quads are and the front of the thighs. We're going to start with the towel or yoga mat just below the pelvis, okay? So let's go ahead and use the towel since we said we would do that. So you want the towel, depending on how you want to do this, you can do a tightly rolled towel that is long enough to go underneath both thighs. You could do one at a time if you want. I'll do both the towel and the yoga mat. So you just come down onto your abdomen and make sure that that towel is on the tops of your thighs. Belly firm, tail tucking. And you can let the head come down and press the hips into the floor a little bit. Belly firm. Now what we're going to do is just flex the feet and draw the heels in toward your tush. And then lower them back down. So as I push down with my hips, I'm getting a little bit of direct pressure on the thigh, on my quads, and then I'm moving the muscles through a range of motion, bending and straightening the legs. Now I'm going to walk my feet apart a little bit and let my heels drop toward each other. Belly firm, hips pressing, and draw my heels toward each other with the knees a little bit wide. So it's going to get a little bit of a different spot on my thighs, a little bit more toward the midline of the body. Breathing. And then draw your knees all the way together. And then bring your feet apart. So coming into the letter V. Now as I'm sort of letting my heels fall apart, fall away from each other, I'm going to get a little more lateral on the body. To the outer part of the thigh a little bit. Belly firm, hips pressing. And then we'll repeat this, okay? So this was in one place, right? Just below the pelvis, okay? I'm going to come up to my side and take this prop away. And I'm going to put the yoga mat there instead. You can see it's interchangeable. The yoga mat's going to be a little more firm, okay? It might be a little more intense the tighter you roll it. So now we're just below the pelvis. Now I'm going to move a little bit further toward where my head is. Belly firm, come down and do the same thing. So parallel. Do 4 times each. Breathing. Belly firm, hips press. Fixing the pelvis in place. Widen the feet. Let the heels fall toward each other. And bring the heels together. And then feet apart. Heels together. Feet apart. Breathing. Heels together. Feet apart. One more. Now I'm going to bring my knees all the way together. Let my heels fall away from each other. And with my shin bones make the letter V and come down. Now all the while belly from hips pressing. Belly firm as I come up. There's a little bit of a backward bend here. And I'm going to move my way a little bit more toward where my head is. Again, belly from hips press. And then 4 times. Okay, so if regular quad stretches are too much or you have knee issues, we're just going into the soft tissue and doing a little bit more like self-massage. Okay, so widen, heels fall together, heels come together. Notice how you feel that release a little bit differently with the different placement of your prop and the different placement of your body on the prop. Breathing. And let's do one more time. Okay, so you're not going to be on the knees themselves. You're going to be on the soft tissue above your knees. Feet wide, heels come together, heels come all the way together, and then feet apart. Belly is firm, hips pressing, and breathe. Feet come together, heels fall away from each other, and make the letter V with your shin bones. Now, from here, bend your knees and windshield wiper the legs from side to side. So the belly is firm, the hips are pressing, and you're just getting a little bit of pressure on the soft tissue. Come back down. Windshield wiper. Come back down. Windshield wiper. More intense with the yoga mat. Come back down. And windshield wiper. Breathe in. All right, so then we can come back from here, take that same prop, widen the knees, bring your feet together, and bring that prop in between your thighs and your calves. So that will be milder on the knees. It will make more space. So if you have any issues, you want to, again, go mild, make it feel good. Don't push it to any discomfort. Look for the support where you need it. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. And a big breath in. And breath out. So I hope those tips have been helpful. So just using a couple props that you might have around the house. If you have a chair and a towel, that's definitely easy. If you happen to have a spare yoga mat, then that's great. You can even use the one that you normally use on the floor and put a towel on the floor instead. I hope this was helpful and that your quads should feel great by now if you did this with me. I want to encourage you to keep moving your body. If you want more inspiration, go to my website. If you subscribe to the channel, you've got plenty of videos here, but you can also go to my website, www.taylorfitwellness.com, and check out the schedule page for classes and private sessions. And if there's a class that fits you, then come and join us, and we would love to see you there. And have a great rest of your day, and let's keep moving our bodies. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.